Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Elite Racing Network for tonight's Kansas 200 Championship race. Of course, live from Kasas Speedway here as we wind down this season. Everybody back at Daytona had envisioned a scenario for them to get to this night and have a shot at the title, and now there's just four left who have a shot. And joining me tonight in the booth, as always, is James along with Dave. And James, I'm going to throw it to you first here. All these guys worked towards one goal this season, and tonight it's down to four. What do you think we're going to see out here tonight out of these?
Well, we're going to see some of the best driving, if not the best driving we've seen all season long. With the four best, you can't take a single lap off. You have to be on your game to its absolute perfection if you're going to have any chance of bringing home the championship, and that goes for all four of our championship combatants.
Yeah, and it should be a fun night, and all these other guys are going to be a part of it too. And we're going to do something a little different here. James and I are going to interview the championship four here, their outlook on tonight, and what they think it's going to take to win this title. And joining us now, I guess I'll take the first one here. Matthew Weeks. Weeks, everybody had the same goal back at the start of the season. Tonight, you're one of the four that gets to chase this opportunity. What's it going to take for you to win the championship and the race tonight?
Well, it's going to be a lot tougher than I wanted. It's starting like midfield here, so I just got to hurry and get up there so I can race Blake. Being back here in the dirty air is really going to hurt, and that's the main focus right now is to try to get track position.
So are you going to be aggressive and attack from the drop, or are you going to save your tires?
It's probably going to be a mixture of both. I'm going to have to play it smart here. Having problems, my wheel keeps shutting off, and so I don't know what to do. It's been a stressful practice, I can tell you that.
Well, all right. Good luck, Weeks. James, anything you want to say to Matthew before we get him out of here?
As my broadcast partner for all of the Sundays, saying good luck.
Thank you.
All right, James, I think you got Blake.
Yes, sir. Blake, James in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Well, doing good. So, how's the feeling? I think quite a few people would say, given the season you've had, you're the favorite coming into this one. How's that feel?
It does feel pretty good. This is my first time in this series, and I've had a lot more fun in this series than Cup. The changes to the next gen car in the middle of the year have kind of made it not as approachable and fun as this car is. This car is just a blast. You can take it to road courses, short track, mile and a halfs like this. It's a good time. So I'm definitely looking forward to showing what I got here tonight.
All right. What was your proudest moment of this season?
Hmm. I've got to think about that. I don't know. I don't have the time though. So I'll just tell you, North Wilkesboro, just being able to do what I did, that was pretty cool to run away like that. And then, Charlotte was a good race too for me. I think I won by 2 or 3 seconds. It's nice when the race goes green and your strategy works out. So it's kind of good when you can execute like that and it actually fall your way.
Alrighty, and finally, before we let you go, any sponsors, plugs, and shout-outs you'd like to give for getting you to this point?
Of course, Track Racer Simulation and Channel 199 Sim Racing all season for here in the Cup Series. Racecraft Academy, Drink Machine Works for being my alternate sponsor, and I hope this is a good show for y'all. And shout out to Chad and the league for putting this on for everyone to watch.
Alrighty, well, good luck tonight, and hopefully we're talking to you again at the end of 134 laps.
All right, I'll see y'all.
Well, James, I think we got our third championship contender rolling off from the middle of the field. It looks like tonight is going to be John Cutlip. John, talk to us about what it's going to take to accomplish the championship and race win? And do you think you're going to need to win the race tonight to win the championship?
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty high likelihood of needing to win the race, but yeah, pretty much just need a smooth and steady race. And just Kansas is a super fun track. I'm kind of concerned with how cool the track temp is right now. I'm not really sure we're going to see a whole lot of lane variance off the bottom, but hopefully I'm proven wrong, and we'll see what happens.
And what does it mean to you to be racing for a title once again? You're one of those guys year in, year out that is always up here, always competitive, always fighting for these titles. So just the fact to get here is an accomplishment. What does it mean to you to be here once again?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool accomplishment. It's something I don't really focus on, which I guess is a little bit of entitlement, but like I just enjoy racing. It's just I end up in this spot, and I'm lucky to be in this spot. So yeah, I don't focus on it, but I don't take it for granted either.
Hey, congrats on getting here, John. We hope to see you running good tonight. We want to see all four of you guys up there battling for that win, battling for that title. And before we let you jump out of here, I'm gonna say good luck again tonight. And James, you got anything you want to say to John here before we let him jump out and prepare?
Yeah, good luck and do what you can.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully I can put on a show for you guys.
Alrighty, and last but not least, Tyler, James in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up, James?
Oh, well, what are you thinking about on this one? You're starting pretty good here up in the top 10, but still got a little ways to go to get up to the forefront.
Yeah, well, after this EOL, it's going to be pretty interesting, but looking forward to it. Not much to lose, so just going to go out there, see what we got.
Yeah, so take us through your season up to this point. What has been your proudest accomplishment on the way to making the Champ 4?
Yeah, we've had some pretty good moments. Been competitive most of the season, but definitely the highlight was the previous round, getting the 100th win at Dover against Blake. That was a fun one. But yeah, overall pretty solid. Just happy to be here.
And what do you think you need to do to get it done out here, knowing how difficult Kansas can be with it kind of switching up which lane is the lane to be?
Yeah, we're gonna have to be on top of the lanes, but most importantly, just gonna have to try and get to that front half of the field. Ideally, top 10, and catch a yellow, kind of get a reset from there. But I feel like you're probably gonna have to win the race. Just looking at the other three that I'm going against, but never know. So we'll just see.
Alrighty, well, any sponsors, plugs, and shout outs you'd like to give before we let you go and prepare?
Yeah, just thanks to Scott and Tate, like Norman teammates, running with me this season. Yeah, hopefully we can get it done and be talking to y'all here at the end.
Alrighty, well, good luck tonight. Hopefully we're talking to you again in 134 laps.
Appreciate it.
Alrighty,
Well, James, the talking's over. The interviews are done. Now these four are going to go to battle. None of them really qualified outside of Blake. Like, they're all going to be coming from midfield, further back. Like Fody mentioned, that EOL from breaking the rules in that Truck Series race there as an onlooker there and trying to give some coaching where maybe it shouldn't have been given. But it's going to be a heck of a race tonight. We're going to see some different strategies, I think. I think we're going to see some great racing. We're going to see some guys trying to blow the tires off of it, trying to get to the front. And as they get ready to roll off here, James, I want you to give me a race winner pick and a championship winner pick.
Well, I think the easiest one is to go chalk, and Blake has won a bunch of races. He's on pole, but I'm looking at that 34 car. You know, JP put it on the outside front row. He's shown some pretty good speed at tracks similar to this. So I'm curious to see if he can hold on to this and maybe go one better.
And Dave, I'm going to ask you the same question: race pick and championship pick, and what kind of? You think we're going to see a crazy race tonight, Dave?
No, I think it's going to be kind of calm. I think Kansas is calm until the last 25 laps. Give me Matthew Weeks to win this.
And just giving me one name there. Is he going to win the race too? You think you're going to have to win the race to get it done?
Yeah, I think he's going to win the race and win. That's what I think it's going to.
Well, I am going to go out here on a limb, and I'm going to say Justin Wadsworth is going to win this race tonight. And I'm going to give the title to Tyler Fode from the back. He's going to get it done. All the chips are down. It's easy to pick Blake. It's easy to say Fode's going to start at the back and have a shot. But I think Fode wants this really bad after the situation from these last couple weeks. So I think he's going to go out here and he's going to do what he thinks has to be done to get this title. And now as we roll into this race, as this pace car gets ready to leave and roll off of pit road, Blake does start on the pool with JP Phillips, like you guys mentioned there. Jesse Racimas up there, Tyler Popp, Wadsworth, Tooker, Jeff Green. Tyler Fode did get to qualify 8th, which is only going to matter really for his pit box, but being able to get down there for a pit box is going to be a big deal when you can go that far down the pit road and as far as being in a pretty decent box. You got Ryan Borges out there and Gavin Hibbs, Tate Lytle. Looking at our other championship contenders, Matthew Weeks and Jonathan Cutlip, 16th and 17th. And we always got to make sure we know where Chad is out here. Chad's going to be rolling off from 26th. And then I want to give a shout out to Mark Rebilas down here. He's going to roll off 27th. He's going to keep racing with us, but this is going to be the last of his sponsorship. He is not coming back for B season to sponsor the series. So shout out to Mark and all he's done for Elite, and it's been a part of it ever since I got here. So hopefully Mark can get a good run tonight, put himself up here, and maybe he'll come say a few words to us later as well. Pace car's off. Green flag is out. And 134 laps from now, as I walk all over myself a little bit, we will crown a champion and a winner. Taking a look back through this field here as Blake gets clear. Jesse's trying to come through in second. JP Phillips, you see Wadsworth right there as well. Tyler Popp gets to the bottom line. Jeff Green back there on the bottom. You heard John kind of reference it there in the pre-race that he thought it was going to be around the bottom tonight. And that's probably the best way to save tire, but I think a lot of these guys are going to go to the wall. They're going to go hard, be aggressive, and try to get track position. You see it right here. Blake's up at the wall. JP's in the middle. Jesse goes through on the bottom. Justin trying to sneak through on the bottom as well. And just like that, Blake is back to 5th.
Yeah, Blake is hardcore tire saving, I guess. But look at Jesse. Jesse Racimas up here taking the lead. How about that?
It's always nice when Jesse runs good. We get some new blood up here. And Justin Wadsworth immediately going to take a look at him here. Jesse hit that bump right there. That's what when he went into the corner, he hit that bump and it kind of shot him towards the wall and he had to lift. And that allowed Justin Wadsworth to get clear. There is a big bump down there in the early center of 1 and 2 when you run that high. And if you don't hit it just right, it will shoot you up the racetrack like we just saw with Jesse. I'll tell you what, Matthew Weeks just shot through the middle 3 wide off of 4 and got a little bit sideways. I thought that his championship hopes might be taking a hit there early, but he was able to get away with it. Shot right through the middle of that 90 and 77.
Yeah, like he was shot out of a cannon. Good lord. We know who's definitely pushing early.
And he kind of hinted at that in the pre-race. He was like, it's going to be a mixture of both, which led me to believe that Matthew's going to be running pretty hard here, taking off, and trying to overcome that middle of the field deficit. As Chad Frankenfield is also looking 3 wide back here in the pack as well. Chad wide into turn 1. 3 different lanes, lots of room. Seth looking on there. You know Chad's going to be aggressive. He might not be racing for a championship, but Chad wants some trophies.
Absolutely, and you know he's got a lot of redemption he wants from last week's heartbreak.
Yeah, falling out of last week's race, running good, thinking he was doing all he needed to do to be able to have a shot at that championship 4, and his internet gives out just like that. And you see Blake is still backing up. I almost wonder if he's saving a little bit here. This is by design. What do you think, James? You think he knows that his championship guys started deep in the field and he can maybe save some extra tire this first run?
Oh, that is exactly what he's doing. He knows that he has the huge advantage of just being able to chill out. You know, his next closest combatant is Weeks, who has absolutely turned the flamethrower on his tires, trying to jump up into the top 10, which means he's probably not going to be as much of a threat as he would be later in the run, just because of how hard he's been pushing. So Blake knows that he has that kind of trump card to just sit back and chill for as long as possible. If this goes green, this is just going to absolutely compound that advantage. Positive feedback loop for Blake, essentially.
Yeah, and this race has been a race that has ran caution-free, I think maybe a couple times, but once for sure. There was one Kansas race for sure that I was part of the broadcast team on that ran caution-free. So we've seen that happen before here, so it would not be a big shocker. But with the way everybody's sliding off the corners and how much these things are pushing in the middle, I don't think they're driving quite as good tonight as they were when they ran that caution-free race. So I do think we're going to see somebody eventually looping around off of one of these corners. But maybe not. We might run caution-free, and if so, Blake's looking pretty good. And, you know, caution-free, when you start at the front and everybody else starts like 15th, 17th, or worse, you know, especially a guy like Tyler Fody, never going to recover really from starting that far back if it goes caution-free.
Absolutely not. And, you know, you turn your attention to Fody, and what strategy does he do? What does he try? He's not cutting through the field as much as you would have expected, which means I think he's also trying to save and take his time and not burn his stuff up going through the field like Weeks is. So I definitely expect him to be a lot closer to the front and to Blake when we get to the end of this stint.
Oh, contact! Chad into the side of Jay.
Yep, there was some Chad wide going on there through the front stretch.
I tell you, man, that would have been huge there on the front stretch right there.
It sure would have been. But that was nearly the caution that pretty much everyone but that 86 was hoping for.
And you see this is going on right, and Tyler Fody has caught this group. You mentioned he was taking it easy. Oh, and they're going to be nearly into the side of each other again. No love lost here between these two individuals. I think Jay feels like Chad got into him, so he's not giving him a whole lot of room, and Chad's trying to move him up the track like, hey, buddy, you pinched me down to the bottom. I'm going to take some racetrack. And it's pretty early for an all take, no give type of scenario.
Absolutely, but what can you do, I suppose?
Now Jay looks to the bottom. Like I mentioned, Tyler Fody's driven right to the back of these guys, just a couple cars back behind him. Trying to snake his way in there right there off the back of Hunter Smith is where Fody has driven up to. So he's in it. You know, when you start at the back, you take it easy on the start because guys kind of go everywhere. You're at the very back, so there's not like it's not like starting like 20th where you can be in the top 10 with a good first couple laps. Like, you know that it's you kind of know and prepare yourself to kind of fight a battle over the course of 30 or 40 laps more than, man, if I get the proper restart, I could all of a sudden be sitting 10th. You know that's not going to happen back there.
Absolutely. You see, Weeks is already having to fight to hold on to top 10. Him and Crump have been battling there. Crump
And I believe
is
he was in
ahead
front of
Weeks.
Crump earlier, right? Like
He
as they
was.
were working their way up. So
That he was.
we are 15 laps in. This is where you would start seeing some tire fall off, especially if some guys have abused it. I'm very surprised nobody's really making that up top there, work right up by the wall. Kansas is one of those tracks where there is more banking up by the wall than there is on the bottom. And Seth having his kind of resurgence, he started these playoffs. Oh, he's going to be sideways here. He's going to save it right in front of a Leighton. I was just getting ready to give him some flowers there for being able to be back up here towards this top 15 tonight, and he almost spun it right out down there.
Yeah, but what a great save. But if you're the 40, that's the last thing you wanted to see out of your windshield.
Yeah, and Seth is one of those guys, he started the playoffs off super hot. And then he got to the road course, and he was like, ooh, this is probably where it's going to come apart at the seams. But then he had a really good showing at the road course. And then since then, I mean, we've seen Seth involved in some wrecks. We've seen him running outside the top 25. Just a big struggle. Like, it's as good as the playoffs started, is as bad as they've been the last couple weeks here. So tonight he's trying to get some of that back here as he runs just outside the top 15.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I talked about this a lot during the truck broadcast last night, is for everyone to... Oh, Gerald's going around on the back straightaway!
I think Gavin Hibbs got a piece of it, too.
Holy crackers, what a save by Gerald. I thought for sure he was going to murder that inside wall.
Ooh, Gerald gets sideways.
Oh, yeah, and gathers it up, down into Gavin, who had nowhere to go and just kind of finished Gerald off there. But look at this driving to keep from absolutely wadding this car up. I had Ryan Priest's wreck here in the Cup race a few years ago playing in my head.
I got to tell you, Gerald's real happy that wasn't that 2001 to 2012 Kansas back there, because that was all grass, and I don't think he gets that thing pointed away from the wall. If it was all grass like it was when Sterling Marlin hit the wall down there and broke his neck there, and I believe
on 3 wheels there here to the end here. This is right front right here.
Oh,
up in the air and then comes back down.
Play in it. That's when you got the car doing things you don't want it to do at Kansas, and that body rolls and.
Oh, Tyler Pop in the wall. I think Pop has some major issues right now. He was up to like P3, and then he has just absolutely dropped anchor. I think he's outside the top 10 now.
I think he's probably hurt the tires. Now, without the grip in the tire, he's gotten up into the wall. He's going to hurt the car a little bit. And he's just driving hard. Once it goes away, you try your best to keep it, and you try not to bleed spots. And you overdo it a little bit on older tires, and there's not as much room for air. Like that deal we saw with Jesse on, the first or second lap of the race, where he was able to not hit the wall when it took off. Now, if somebody goes through there and hits that bump wrong, and they're not ready for it, you're not going to get that thing not to hit the wall on tires with 20 laps on them.
Absolutely.
Ooh, Cutlet. Big slide. I think Cutlet was trying to pull down to get underneath the 10 and got loose at the same time and never lifted.
John trying to be the next championship combatant to make his way back into the top 10.
And you see Jared's the first guy I've seen go up to the wall, and it looks like he's actually not falling backwards here. Now, if these two weren't on the screen together, I'd say they were both yellow. But now that they're on the screen together, one looks yellow and one looks not yellow. Maybe a little bit mellow yellowish. James, would you agree?
I'd say so. As we see John jumping to the outside of Rexing now, and he's going to get that pass done.
Tyler Pop trying to come back at him, driving on that seam though right there. That's going to make that car loose. And there you see at the top of the screen, Championship 4 contender who started at the back, Tyler Fody, closing in on Chad Frankenfield. Now, if you had to guess, is Chad going to race Tyler? Or is he going to say, oh, Tyler started dead last, he's a championship guy, go wave him by?
Not that last one.
I'm going to go with a good, solid perhaps.
Now, I'm just saying that because I saw somewhere, I believe, that Chad had said or posted that Championship 4 are going to be raced with a little bit more respect, and, they got here, and, So I was just curious, if he's just saying that or if he's going to show it, too.
That time won't stop me because I can't read.
Well, Fody's going to be there here shortly. That 40 machine is going to be drove right up on the back of that 15 machine. And they're both moving forward. Like, they both have moved forward from where they started and trying to make up some ground. Fody just cuts so much better than that 15 right there.
Absolutely. Look at the run he got.
Now, I'm not going to say that was a defensive move out of Chad, but it did not look like he wanted to let 40 underneath him.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's a race. The race is on right here. That's a battle.
Speaking of battling, Weeks and Crump are battling hard, and Weeks is going to get by the 90. Taking a follow through.
And here comes Tate Lytle as well. And while all this is going on, moving back up into third is Blake. So Blake has decided he's going to go and start moving forward and using what he's got. And he's running that middle of the racetrack there, turning towards the bottom. Everybody else is running the bottom or the top for the most part. And he's kind of got that unique lane there right in the middle, the lower middle of the racetrack. And I say that, and he's going to cut in the middle of the track and go all the way down to the white line, so it makes me a liar. There you see Scott and Tate, teammates right now. Jeff Green, Tyler Pop. And right there in the middle of the screen backwards is the 40 looking at the 15 once again. He's going to hang right there on his right rear. Nearly some contact. Gotta appreciate this a little. Oh, there is going to be some contact.
Yeah, he thinks the Tyler might be getting a little bit fed up here. All that work to save those tires are getting burned in an instant, but now he finally clears Chad.
And the fact that Chad lifted a little bit there and got it behind him, Chad's going to tell him later he let him go. He's going to be like, man, I let you go. I rolled out there in the 3 so you could get clear. What more do you want?
That's Chad's version of moving out of the way.
And Tyler's going to come back and say, you raced me for 3 or 4 laps in a row every time I tried to pass you. I'd like to see you lift, I don't know, when I got there.
Yeah, but it wasn't 10.
Now Weeks and Cutlip have came here on each other. running at 8th and 9th. Cutlip moving forward. I think Weeks has given that spot up to Tate, and he's moving backwards just a little bit. I think Weeks is just hanging on to what little bit of tire life he's got left. And we're got a turn 4. And Blake moving into second. So championship 4. Every time Weeks and Cutlip gain a spot or two, Blake gets one. Now Blake's got about 2 seconds to get to Justin. Can he do it? Has Justin been saving a little bit? I will say with probably somewhere around 15 laps left in the run, Justin would have to go away in a big hurry here for him to catch him, so I do think we're going to get to that first pit stop with Justin still being in the opportunity to win this race.
Yeah, and it's not like Blake is going to be too super hard pressed to run him down just because he is well ahead of the ultimate prize here. Cutlip and Weeks are starting to battle with each other.
You know, you would think that, James, but in any conversation I've had with Blake and John, you know, that whether it's been on the air, I've sat in here with them after these races over the last several weeks a little bit, talked to them. They're competing about who's got the most wins, and they just want to win. So I think Blake wants to win. Like, it's not even about the title as much as it is, like, they just want to win every race, and they were both well aware of who has the most wins in the series this season, and they both, you know, I haven't did the math since then, but it was dead even then, so they both are just wanting checkered flags, and I believe John or Blake, or maybe both of them, said to me, if you just go get the checkered flags, the points will take care of themselves.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. But so far, Blake isn't making too much ground on Justin. In fact, I believe he's even pulled away. I think Justin has put about 3 or 4 tenths on him. Yeah, look at that.
But remember, Justin was the one who was really in a good spot going into last week on points. You know, and they pitted under caution, and he was too far back and got trapped a lap down, and then he got in the wreck. Like, he had to finish basically outside of the top 12 or 15 or whatever it might have been to not make the next round, and he did so, and Weeks and Chad went out and got stage points, and ultimately Weeks got the finish. So seeing Justin run this strong is no surprise to me, because I honestly think he would have probably been my championship pick tonight had he made it this far. And I know he was frustrated with getting trapped a lap down last week and with the situation that arose, and then, you know, you're in a position for a lucky dog and you get caught up in the wreck that happens right there around you with you and Gerald and a couple other guys. So it's no surprise that of anybody out here who's able to go and kind of drive away from these championship guys, it's not a surprise that it's the guy who maybe thought going into last week, as long as I don't have a terrible night, I'm going to be in that 4 as well. And, you know, lo and behold, he had a terrible night and didn't have things go his way.
Yeah. So just trying to go out on the best possible terms. But, you know, I do always wonder what it's like to be someone who just missed out on making it to the next round of the playoffs, only to win the first race of the next round and just having to deal with that. Man, if I had just moved on one more round, this would have been an even better win.
It's got to be tough, but you race to win. You want to win. Justin wants to win. He wants to, you know, have a good night. He wants it all to fall into place. So he's got a lot of good stuff going on in his life that if that's the worst thing that happens to him this year, I think he'll be all right. And, you know, he's got a big future ahead as far as personal life. And, you know, this isn't going to be the last championship he just misses out on. Not that he's going to miss out on any in the future, but he's going to win a lot more than he's going to lose, and have opportunities a lot more than he's not moving forward.
Absolutely. And plus, let's not forget he is a Belly Up Sports Cup champion too, so he's won arguably the biggest prize in Elite already. So and it's not like he's hurting for past accomplishments.
Yeah, and as long as you got speed, you'll have opportunities, and he's got plenty of speed. As Tyler Top spins on the pit road.
Oh, I suppose we have our first pitter.
I'm curious if that's going to be clean. It is. No black flag, so maybe he did it on purpose. I did see him queue up just a minute ago. I didn't know that he was calling out he was pitting. But if you're going to two-stop this race, you pit now. Does this split the place into thirds? It just about does, right?
I was told there would be no math.
Well, they lied to you. So Tyler says if we're going to split into thirds, and I'm going to go right now. Meanwhile, one of the guys that we talked about early who was up there, started up at the front, was running well. We saw him have the lead there for just a second. And I think he's melted the tires right off of that thing is Jesse Racimas.
Yeah, still holding on to a top 10 here, so it's still a great run for Jesse.
I'm going to tell you what, though, if you look hard enough, I think there's smoke coming out of those tires. They're so chewed up.
And with this being the last lap of the stage, he looks like he's going to be bringing home stage points.
And for those of you watching home, the stage does not matter to our championship guys. So there isn't like a big punishment here to Tyler Fode as they come to the stage here. At lap 50, James, lap 50. Not 45.
Don't quote me on that.
Don't. So there's a stage ending somewhere right here in the next 5 laps. But either way, it doesn't matter for our championship 4. It's whoever finishes higher. And right now, Blake is 2nd, Weeks is 4th, Cutlip is 6th, and Fode is just on the outside. And look at that, just like magic, it now says lap 45. So give Wadsworth the stage win.
As soon as you said that, I was like, I don't remember typing
that. And with this pass right here, Tyler Fode will be in the top 10, which will put all 4 of our championship 4 in the top 10. We got pit stops coming this time, big time. Scott Crump's coming. Bunch of guys. Yeah, it's getting busy down there. It's getting loud on pit road.
That it is. And so who's going to be the first of our Champ 4 to bring it in?
As a Champ 4 driver, they're probably going to want to stay out as long as they can. You do not want to get trapped, but you don't want to wait too long either. It's a very unique situation that you're in. As we take a look here at Jaden coming off of turn 4. Oh, little loose, tags the wall, mows the grass. Bo Duke would be proud.
Yeah, and we saw last night 2 of the championship 4 were trapped a lap down with a caution that came out during the pit cycle, and they did not recover. Did you see Tate in?
It's really risky, because that can happen. But if you pit before the rest of them, and it does end up just splitting, and it's a 2-stopper, then you want to be on pit road right now or sooner. That way you get, the maximize out of all the tires. Yeah, when Jared Rexing... Oh, here comes Weeks. Rexing with the speeding penalty as Weeks comes down there. All kinds of out of shape.
It was a bit of an adventurous entry for Weeks, though, but pulls it off. No penalty.
So he's the first one to blink. Here comes Wadsworth down the pit road. Reynolds stays out. Cutlip stays out. So Justin Wadsworth. There's Kurt Gibson getting stopped in his pit box. Tyler Fody looking underneath David Tooker. I'm very impressed with the way this run has went for Tyler Fody, because you see John Cutlip right up there in front of him. So Fody has done a great job taking care of his stuff, taking on the job of trying to drive through here without the aid of a caution.
Yeah, I think Weeks might have gotten a penalty.
Oh yeah. Did they say unsafe entry? Is that what they said?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I never saw a black flag pop up on the screen, but I did wonder because he got really close to that the pit speed cone.
Oh yeah, he hit the cone. Matthew Weeks hit the pit cone.
Oh, right there.
And that's not one that pops up for you to clear, so he had to sit there. That was very unfortunate, major implications there, and probably going to be a lap down after the cycle runs through as David Tooker slows down for pit road.
Yeah, now he really needs caution, and that's putting it mildly.
But not yet. You want to wait until the pit
No.
stop cycle through.
Because he is, I think, currently 2 laps down, actually. All the way down in P31.
And we're going to ride on board with Ryan as he slows down for pit road. You'll see what they see.
Sees a whole lot of smoke from somebody. Oh my god, Blake Reynolds with a penalty! Wow!
He will get a clear and drive through.
Yeah, say race control is clearing those fast. May that be why we don't see some.
Two of our championship 4 have gotten penalties here on this cycle of pit stops.
Yeah, it's time to break out the old Rick Allen championship implications.
Cutlip can just be a little more cautious on it.
And there you see Cutlip. Now, where's he going to come out in relation to Tyler Fody? Tyler was just behind him when he pitted. Tyler did get in there a lap sooner. Tyler comes off of turn 4. Watching for Jonathan Cutlip here on the apron. Where is he? I think he's the yellow car. He's the next car. There they are. And all of a sudden, this is the race for the championship lead right now.
And there he goes. Man, what a comeback if he can hold on and hold Cutlip off at this point.
Heck of a job, that's for sure.
And I believe that is the cycle completed.
So that's going to put, Wadsworth just past Scott Crump, who was the first one to pit road. So Crump got himself up here. Wadsworth got around him. Gerald Campbell just out in front of them.
Pop was the first one at lap 40.
Yeah, Pop was first, and he's currently has a 1.1 second lead, but that's closing as Wadsworth runs him down on the much fresher tires.
Tell you what, Wadsworth's not getting around Gerald too easy here. Oh, Tyler Fode's around in turn 3.
Oh my!
I believe there was
God.
contact. All there
Oh.
was. John with a little bit of a late dive there, just trying. They're trying to catch traffic. Fode's trying to be a little bit cautious, and John, there was some net code, but
Quite a bit.
it was pretty aggressive too.
Well, that's just championship racing. But I really don't think it's that bad of a move from Cutlip. I mean, I think we've definitely seen worse, and it's hard to say what contact actually would have taken place if it wasn't for that netcode rearing its ugly head. But this is going to be interesting on how it affects the other two that got penalized, because neither of them are the first car one lap down. And
I think if I'm out here and if I'm somebody in this championship fight, I think you're hoping that somebody stays out. I think if Justin stays out, that's what the other two championship guys want. Is for Wadsworth to stay out.
And I'm not entirely sure if everyone is going to pit, especially like, Cutlip, since he just pitted a couple laps ago. And if he stays out, he traps them a lap down.
Jonathan Cutlip stays out.
Yep, it's exactly.
Mr. Racine has stayed out. Gavin Hibbs, Tommy Ryan, Aiden Racine. Black flag for Gerald Campbell.
Okay, but here's what just happened. Cutlip stayed out, but Blake is in front of him. So Blake is going to get the wave.
Oh.
Matthew Weeks was 2 cars behind him. Matthew Weeks is going to stay trapped a lap down.
Oh.
So what we're going to do with this racing that we've seen, we are going to get in a commercial break right here, try to pay some bills. Stick with us on the other side of the break. We'll take you to the checkered flag here from Kansas.
Tickets for the 2026 Season of Speed at Worldwide Technology Raceway are on sale now. The Bomarito Automotive Group 500 and Celebration of 66 Festival, June 6th and 7th. The NASCAR Cup Series Enjoy Illinois 300, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and Confluence Music Festival, September 11th through 13th. And the NHRA Napa Auto Parts Midwest Nationals, October 2nd through 4th. Save big by going to WWTRaceway.com.
Now let's hear about Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pick group. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back as the green flag is getting ready to come out with John Cutlip out front. A little bit of wheel spin through the field. Buffalo Wild Wings back there spinning in all that barbecue sauce. Really struggling there was Racimus getting taken off. There you see Wadsworth working on the top side. They're 3 wide there, right all around Chad. Right around Chad right now is the crazy of this race right now. And there you see Jaden falling back in the middle. Chad's trying to move forward in the middle. Chad's going to give it a tuck to the left. Ooh, I don't like that right there. That's pretty tight. Jeff Green going to cut him a break on the top side.
Oh, boy.
A lot of guys that don't cut brakes.
I think the only reason Jeff cut him a break is because Jeff's driven these things in real life, and he knows it hurts when you hit the wall. Here you see Justin working the top, Tate working the bottom. Tyler Fody driving like a man possessed back here. He's going to try to split the middle as well in the back of this group. He's got to be frustrated with what just transpired. Joe Francis gets into the wall a little bit there off of turn number 2.
And it makes you wonder what Blake's going to do now, you know, with him being not on quite as fresh tires as a lot of the cars around him, plus having to make up all that track position. Doesn't seem to be driving too aggressive here. I think he's really just taking his time and trying to maybe save a little if possible. If that's even possible.
Yeah, now you're in a spot you need a caution. You gotta have a caution. You know, it's no longer a straight up race for him. Right now, 2 of the 4 hurt themselves on pit stops. Contact between the other 2 drastically hurt 1. So right now, John Cullip's the only one who's ran tonight without an issue. Big move by Tate. Then he backs out. Tate with a big look there, like he's going to try to take the lead, and then he's like, you know what? Just kidding.
Uh-oh. Oh! Woo! That could have been disastrous.
Oh, Scott Crump's on the outside of 3 wide here, and it was real tight.
Yeah, that it was. Oh, boy.
And there you see
More
Tyler
three
Fody.
wide. Look at him zooming to the inside.
Look at a Leighton with a big late move there.
Yeah, a late move. Get it? Because of Leighton. Yeah, I'll be here all week.
He almost paid the price for it. He did get ran into the wall there off of turn 2 a little bit, or ran into it himself. I'm not sure if he thought Scott was going to run him out of room, or...
Somehow that's probably the fault of my pun.
They come off of turn 2 again, and that's just about that same spot.
Meanwhile, Blake is starting to move forward. He's up to 22 right now. Weeks is in a much worse position because he's not even the first car a lap down. That yellow car in the shot is Jared Rexing. He is the lucky dog car right now, and as you can see, he is he's right there in mid-pack, and you don't see that 11 at all in frame. You've got to go a ways back to find Matthew Weeks.
And there he is on the screen right in front of Connor Thompson. He's right behind Blake, but don't let that deceive you, right, James? He might be right behind him, but he's about 1.5 miles behind him.
Absolutely.
You see Chad moving around Hibbs, Justin Wadsworth coming up right there, Jeff Green as well.
Yeah, well, that's where this had lost a lot of track position since that stop under yellow.
Well, I think it's where we had so many guys stay out, and he's just being patient. He knows, the situation as far as guys in front of him are on older tires. He's going to be pretty patient. And meanwhile, I believe Tate Lytle pitted, and he's trying to get to the lead and just get going. And not to mention, it was a 50-50 shot. I can't remember who was in what lane, but Jaden really, as Tommy Ryan's up in the wall there, but Jaden Racimus really had trouble getting going there on that restart. So if you were in the inside lane, you lost 3 or 4 rows basically before you hit third gear. And I'm not saying he did anything wrong. It's, he spun his wheels. It was, it's happened to everybody. And if it hasn't happened to you, then you're lying, or it just hasn't happened yet. But Jaden really struggled at getting going, and, that really was a detriment to that inside lane. And there you see Chad working around them all.
Tommy throwing it 3 wide. Not able to pull it off.
One thing that I think John did here, I don't know if it was smart to get off cycle with your other championship contenders. I understand that Blake didn't get tires. I understand, I don't think Matthew, I think the reason Matthew's not in the lucky dog spot is because maybe he didn't get tires. I don't know that for sure. But Fody did, because, of course he spun over there. I actually believe if this thing runs green from here, it's still going to be in Fody's hands as far as, I think he's got the upper hand right now. Now, if we get a rash of cautions, those guys saving tires, it's, that's going to play into their hand. But right now, I think John kind of put himself on a little bit of an island with guys that don't necessarily matter anymore with Blake and Weeks with the way the race has played out so far. Now, they could get brought back into this, but at this point in the race and the way the race has played out so far, I would have probably did what the 40 did, because that's the only guy that matters, unless this race just looks totally different in the second half.
I mean, I don't think he's really off cycle that much. I mean, when the incident with him and Fody happened, he had only pitted 5 laps before, so it's not like it's some huge amount. 5 laps difference at Kansas isn't that big than, say, 5 laps at Darlington, as we see Justin and Chad just absolutely going at it. They were leaning on each other right there. But I don't think it's that much of a detriment. Oh boy, but that might be.
I mean, I think 5 laps anywhere, the way iRacing's tire model is enough when it comes to 2 guys who are really good.
Yeah,
as Scott Crump comes down pit road to make his final stop, so he did not let that caution strategy change his strategy.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, these 2 are about to... Justin's about ready to go down in there and say, I'm taking the spot, buddy. Chad's running him really hard. Justin's about ready to have had enough of it. He's taking more and more every corner entry. He's like, hey, I'm moving up further and further.
And
how long are you going to run me? And he finally... There's a pretty good little body slam getting into one there, and Chad had to concede.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you in the sense that I probably would have pitted, but I mean, because how many sets of tires do they even have at their disposal? 6. So, I don't know. I don't feel that it was that bad of a call from Cutlip to stay out. And by the time Fody gets to him, how much tire life is Tyler going to have, considering how much position he had to gain and how hard he's having to push? So I feel like by the time he gets there, it's going to be fairly equal.
I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I was always told a good rule of thumb on iRacing is if you're racing somebody, you want to pit 2 laps after they did, so as Chad gets the wall. And so based on that, I think 5 laps would be quite a bit, and the tire model's changed a little bit since then, but I tell you, Chad's trying to get somebody to wreck him. He's like, somebody just get into me a little bit, as tight as he runs these guys when they go to passing.
As far as my experience as someone who likes to go with the overcut quite a bit, at tracks like Kansas, where they're not the most tire intensive, I don't notice much of a difference for the overcut until you get to like 10 laps or so, and 5 at real tire intensive tracks like Darlington. So
well, I think we got a friend to talk to, James.
Oh, do we now?
I think Siri's sponsor is down here. He's going to come up and give us a few words about his season and what's ahead. Mark, you got a copy up here in the booth.
Gotcha.
Well, first of all, Mark, it's great to talk to you. As you know, I've been trying to make this interview happen for quite a while now, and I'm glad you finally gave it to us. So, talk to us about your racing season here, and I know your sponsorship has taken a step back, but talk to us a little bit about what you do and how people can find you as well.
Yeah, it was a fun race. I thought I was going to do better than I ended up doing. I ended up getting loose and smacked the wall, and it said too much damage, we're done. I hate that it does that now. It used to, at worst, it would be 40 minutes, but now it'll just boot you out of the race. So it was fun. I really enjoy participating in the Elite Series, and it was fun to sponsor it for these couple of years. And I could definitely see myself being back here in a few years when the economy dictates such.
Well, I think I could speak for everybody when I say it's a lot of fun to have you out here on the racetrack and the banner that people don't get to see behind the scenes, and just, how great of a guy you are and how awesome it is to talk to you. And, nobody can quite get under Chad's skin like you can do. So that's always great to watch. And how are you so good at just knowing what buttons to push on Chad?
I don't know. I just like to troll people, and he's an easy target.
So the series sponsorship is going away, but you're going to stick with us as a driver, right? And you're going to be out here and taking that step back as the sponsor is all you're doing, right? And you're going to start.
Yeah, no, I still
more
plan
on the driving and winning, right?
Yeah, I want to. Obviously, my work schedule dictates my ability to participate, so I'm never able to actually run a full season to see how I can do. But so I just come out and run when I can, and I have a lot of fun doing so.
Well, all right. Before we let you jump out of here, I want to ask you to let these people know where they can find you and exactly what it is that you do. They just see your logo up here, and we try to talk about you every week a little bit and whatnot, but exactly what you do and who you do it for and how they can see your work.
I'm a professional sports photographer. I cover everything from NFL, baseball, basketball, be at college football playoffs next week. I stay busy. My website's rebilasphoto.com. You can check out some of my stuff on there. Yeah.
I got to say that program that you got too, that you posted out there, and I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, maybe it's a year ago. I don't know. It's been some time ago, but not way long ago, where we could go and see all the pictures that you took, and you put them in a little file program there for us to be able to search. That was really cool. So if people are wanting to see your stuff, I believe that's on your Twitter, right? And you still got that bookmarked or pinned on your Twitter?
Yeah, I believe so. But once again, if you just go to rebilasphoto.com, and you can just go to the search box, and you can just, I probably have almost 500,000 photos on there. Now, granted, most of the stuff is professional sports and auto racing, where I'm not allowed to sell it, but people are allowed to check out the archive, and you can drag it and use it on your Twitter. I don't care. It's got a little watermark on it.
And now, one thing I'm pretty partial to as well, you do some storm chasing. You got plans for any of that come the springtime?
Oh, absolutely. Once again, as much as my schedule dictates it, if there's going to be a enhanced risk or high risk day, I'm definitely going to try my best to be out there chasing.
Well, all right, Mark. Thanks for coming up here and talking to us. It's always, a lot of people behind the scenes. You don't talk too much, and so people who aren't in the lead aren't going to know the kind of guy you are or what you do, and the fun that we all have as just people away from the racetrack. At the racetrack, sometimes we can get pretty frustrated with each other. As a league gets pretty frustrated with Chad, as a whole.
Yeah, no,
So.
it's a good league. I really enjoy racing with everybody in here.
But anyway, good luck. Have fun next week at the college football playoff. I think I seen you're going to be at the Oklahoma game, right?
Yes, sir.
So there it is. You maybe follow Mark there on Twitter, see all the pictures that he uploads from Oklahoma from the college football playoff, and you can always see what he's got in store. And I know you go to the drags a lot, like motorsports, everything. Like Mark's covered it all. Will you do like wedding pictures if somebody for a request or not?
No, definitely not. I like stuff where I'm not. I like to shoot what happens in front of me. I don't like to control it and tell people what to do and all that stuff. I'll stick to sports and racing.
All right, Mark. Thanks for coming up here and talking to us. We can't wait to be racing with you on the racetrack. And like you mentioned, maybe the sponsorship will come back. But even if it doesn't, we want to make sure you stay here in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, guys.
Well, as we are working through this final pit stop cycle here, James, as the green flag is still out, these guys still racing here. We got 35 to go. What did we miss here, James, while I was talking to Mark?
Well, we're starting to get some pit stops. Chad brought it down. So, and I think Crump's going to be pitting in soon as well. I think he just did, in fact.
Tyler Pop's still out front, too.
That he is, and so it makes you wonder how soon until Cutlet brings it in. JP Phillips coming down.
Yeah, how soon do you what would you do, James, if you were out here? Like, is there anything you're basing off of? I think if you're weeks, it's easy to stay out until it runs out of gas because you need a yellow no matter what. So if there's ever a time to go all in, it would be now for weeks. But outside of him, put yourself in Blake's shoes. What are you doing if you're Blake, if you're Fody, if you're
Cutlet? If you're Cutlet, like I said, I always try to focus on the overcut, so I'm always going to be trying to look to go farther than those I'm racing. So that's pretty much my strategy, regardless of the context of, whoa, wow, Leighton. Heck of a job to hold on to that. Oh, sounds like our race leader's bringing it in.
And it has turned out these guys were able to keep the strategy. So that's a win for you and a loss for me because now everybody's going to be pitting here over the next 5 or 10 laps. Ain't nobody going to run way longer outside of, I think, weeks or some guys like that. Jared Rexing almost spins out of turn 4. The next quick car almost spun out all over some chocolate milk over there, I think.
Yeah, and Tommy Ryan also had a really interesting pit entry as well.
Not quite unacceptable in the unacceptable racing machine.
Yeah, here it is. Whee!
I tell you what, it's dangerous to pit from in front of a group of cars. And he was pitting from right in front of a group of cars. You see Justin Wadsworth coming down. And it's 4 in fuel, right? Right, James? You're not going to take 2, are you?
Oh, absolutely not. Not with this many laps left. You're more than welcome to, but it'd be your funeral for those crazy enough to try.
Oh,
Tate.
Did Blake already get ordered off of pit road? Yeah, Blake's already been ordered off of pit road. He's slapped down. Yeah. So Blake chose to pit pretty early here. He's just trying to get up there into the game, I think, James, and hope to catch a caution on the other side of the cycle.
Yeah, going for the heavy undercut here.
Ooh, look at Fody getting in there pretty deep and pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Jay got in there really aggressive right behind him. Jeff Green coming in there right behind him. I feel like John cannot be too far behind Tyler Fody.
No, you can go a few extra laps, but you've got to bring it in almost ASAP.
Here he comes. Here comes John down the pit road. Here comes David Tooker. Gavin Hibbs still out here running. This is where you're going to see the guys who are like, I can't win tonight without something crazy. Where I can't, in the case of Matthew Weeks, I can't get myself back into this race without something crazy. We're just going to run as far as we can and see if we can get that something crazy. Because you could probably run to about lap 110, 112, maybe 115, so. And there you see Scott Crump. He was the first car that pitted a long time ago. Chad Frankenfield pitted pretty early. We mentioned Blake pitted way early as well.
And right now, he is currently the lead championship driver. Weeks just 2 spots behind. Both of them are doing the caution dance right now.
Well, I believe Blake pitted. I think it was mentioned he pitted at lap 90, so he was the first car to pit in that green flag cycle. Like, he was like, hey, the only way I'm going to get there is with some help, and he chose to just pit early, try to get in front of the other two, which he has done that so far.
There
That
goes
looked
his
fast. I think that's a speeding penalty for the 95 for sure.
Yep, and for Borges as well.
Jesse was going to pit, I think, and then he said, I'm following
Yeah.
inside. And there you see the 5 coming up behind him, who is just out in front of Tyler Fody.
Scary times for Jesse. Look at the closing rate. Everyone zooming by.
Yeah, and he's going to pit, and Connor Thompson is still out there. Ooh, that might have been fast too. When you see him have to slow down again after the cone and you have to take that dive, that's one where it's like, oh, was that too much? But like Dave just said, clean on that. And now we're going to find out exactly how long Matthew Weeks can run here. Do we know, did he pit on that caution, or did he stay out?
Did it on lap 60.
So he's near the end of his rope here. There's not much further that 11 can go.
And Connor Thompson and Jared Rexing.
Meanwhile, it is shaping up the battle between Blake Reynolds, who might really not have anything to race those other two with when they get to him. Cutlip and Fody are closing quick, and they're on, I don't know, maybe 20 lap pressure tires. Not quite 20 lap pressure tires.
12 laps. 11 and 12. 11 on Cody and 12 on.
He might try to race him, but I don't know how much of a fight he'll be able to put up.
Yeah,
He is
trying
closing
is
in
one
on the
thing,
90.
succeeding is another. Meanwhile, late in the last couple times off of turn 2 has been very sideways. And he is getting freight trained.
Yeah, it's really difficult out here because you don't know who's on what tires. You don't like you see the 54 there on older tires, just stopped in front of the 9. 9 did not know that that was going to happen. You don't, it's really hard to keep up when you're in a group of cars like this. Like, hey, who's on tires that are closest to mine? Who's on fresher?
Oh no! The 9 put sideways by Jeff Green, but Jay's gonna hold on to it. Wow, that was nearly game changing. See, Jay just tries to fill the hole, and Jeff is already there, and almost completely around goes the 9. Almost a carbon copy of the Fody Cutlip incident, right down to the net code.
And speaking of Cutlip, he's about ready to move into championship position number 1 right now as they go into turn 1. He makes the pass on Blake. Also is going to get around Chad Frankenfield, who is sideways there.
Drifted.
We're coming to 20 to go. Now here comes Tyler Fody up behind the both of them. Tyler knows if he's going to get up here and try to race the Cutlet machine, he's got to make quick work of all these guys when he gets to them.
And he definitely does not want to be stuck behind the 15 as long as he was earlier. And he will not be. Gets by Chad.
Immediately goes to work here on Blake. Oh, Blake hits the wall a little bit getting down into the corner. They still get really tight there. And now here comes the 30 towards pit road. That means the 11 cannot be far behind him. We're about to see Matthew Weeks' championship hopes all but go down to about 0.5% when he has to pull into the pit lane.
Yeah, bummer for the 11.
Right now, Cutlip is in control of the championship fight. Tate Lytle's in control of the race, but just barely over Tyler Pop. Man, I know we've seen it a lot tonight, but nobody runs closer to the cars underneath them than Chad Frankenfield does.
Yeah.
I don't know how somebody hasn't gotten up into him and turned him around or something yet tonight.
Especially all the netcode we've been seeing.
And he fights for every spot, too. I mean, Chad is going to fight for every spot. Chad's part of that group that really short pitted the run. Him, Scott Crump really falling back with the short pitting strategy. Blake Reynolds also short pitted. He's fallen back as well. There you see John Cutlip.
Connor Thompson going around him on the much fresher tires.
And they got to come to 15 to go right here. Matthew Weeks is currently sitting on pit road. So unfortunately for him, I won't say his championship is over, but Chad Frankenfield hard into the wall in turn one. I believe he and Jeff Green made some contact. Yeah, they both were going to enter on the second lane. I would say probably a racing deal, but I just think Chad's been so used to just making that guy on the bottom run right around the white line, and Jeff had seen that, I think, and Jeff said, I'm not going to run that white line. You're the guy backing up. You can give me some room. And unfortunately, it's, I feel like I almost spoke this into existence because I mentioned that nobody had gotten into Chad. And then somebody did.
But crucially, that stays green. And Fody not really tracking down Cutlip.
And here we look at Cutlip. Chad went from wanting somebody to take a look at it. Chad said he's trying to watch the Eagles game, James.
Yeah, and he said he was struggling, which, as someone who has won races while broadcasting in them, I gotta say his inability to multitask is quite shameful.
I know this. If I had to watch the Bengals while I raced, I might just start wrecking people as I got around them, just out of the frustration. And there you see John still in full control of this championship right now. A little fresher tire, just by a lap. So he's driving away from Tyler Fody. They're both driving away from Blake Reynolds. Blake's about to lose a handful of spots here, unless he catches a caution.
Yeah, they really are starting to line up behind him. We're under 10 to go now.
Yeah, and kind of, I think Blake just was hoping to catch a caution, like a caution right now. It would, Blake's strategy gave him a shot to win it because he knew if he did what everybody else did, he would pit from 20. He might have gotten up to like 12th or 15th, but it was going to be hard to race if there's a caution inside of 10 to go for a championship with Fody and Cutlip. Whereas now, by playing that way different strategy, if there is a caution, he's right there with him, and you can win the championship on a restart.
Yeah, and to say he needs that caution to come out ASAP is an understatement, especially because the more spots he loses, the worse his odds are. He needs to be as close to John and Tyler as possible if we do get that caution.
Yeah, because at this point, that everybody's probably coming and getting some tires. I'd say everybody's got a set left. We haven't had a bunch of cautions tonight, so with a yellow, everybody's going to come get them, and it make it pretty exciting for us.
And the question would be any two tire takers.
I'd do it if I wasn't leading the race.
Yeah.
You know me, James. I'm always one to let me put myself off front and see what happens.
Yeah. I feel like knowing you, I could see you taking a no tire stop.
That's right, staying out.
Yeah, I think I've seen that play out a time or two.
It's worked a couple different times. There's a few times it's worked. Maybe we'll get to see more of it next season. I don't think I've announced anything, but maybe if you tune in on Monday nights next season, you won't hear me on the broadcast, and you'll see me on the racetrack being a menace. And now John's got to think about what he's going to do when he gets to Wadsworth. Does he push for the spot? Does he ride?
I feel like you just got to ride at this point. Nothing to gain, everything to lose, 4 to go, just chill out. You've got 2 seconds, 2+ seconds to play with back to your championship combatant, and even if you do pass Justin, you're not going to be able to run down for the win, so just chill out and take these last couple laps away.
Now, see, I would be trying to pass Justin because I'd want a car between me and Fody, because what if there's a caution at 2 to go? We come to pit road with a car between us. I feel pretty good about, still coming off a pit road in front of him.
Yeah, but you don't want to battle and risk of making that caution happen.
One thing we haven't really discussed is the fact that there was contact between that 5 and 40, and we don't know how Tyler feels about that. There might be some words had after this race.
Drama bomb.
Of course, we won't get to hear him because we're not going to get an interview with Fody as it stands right now. But we are down to 2 to go. Tate Lytle, the guy that we all assumed would win this race, out front. I think we all picked him to win, right, in the pre-race?
Sure, we did. Don't go back and look.
Yeah, sounds good to me. He's going to get the white flag. We're not going to get the caution. White flag is in the air. 1 lap away from Tate Lytle visiting victory lane. Tyler Pop with a great run tonight is currently sitting second. They head down the backstretch for the last time. They come off a turn 4. Tate Lytle is going to take the Days Gone By Chevrolet to victory lane. Tyler Pop, Justin Wadsworth, Jonathan Cutliff is going to be your champion in the mellow yellow number 5. Tyler Fody is going to come home 5th in the race, 2nd in the title. David Tooker, Blake Reynolds, 3rd in the title, 7th in the race. And then we got Tommy Ryan, Seth Rawls, and Jeff Green. Matthew Weeks finishes in the mid-20s after the unfortunate situation that happened. He could not get back on the lead lap. Threw his Hail Mary. He did not get what he needed. So unfortunately, he is going to be 4th, and a distant 4th at that. So we are going to take this opportunity to get ready for some interviews here, talk to our champions. Stick with us on the other side of the break. We'll hear from Tate Lytle and Jonathan Cutliff, and maybe a couple other guys too.
Tickets for the 2026 season of Speed at Worldwide Technology Raceway are on sale now. The Bomarito Automotive Group 500 and Celebration of 66 Festival, June 6th and 7th. The NASCAR Cup Series Enjoy Illinois 300, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and Confluence Music Festival, September 11th through 13th. And the NHRA Napa Auto Parts Midwest Nationals, October 2nd through 4th. Save big by going to WWTRaceway.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Now let's hear about Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pick group. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Alrighty, we are back, and we're going to go ahead and start with our third place finisher, Justin James in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. How we doing, boys?
Doing all right. It was a great run for you out there. You dominated pretty much the whole first half of the race there.
Yeah, to be honest, I was not expecting that. I just kind of got the lead, the clean air, and was able to sort of just manage the tires there that run. And second half of the race, it got away from me a little bit, having to get through the traffic. But all in all, happy to come on P3 for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it was good to have a really good run and, build some momentum going into next season.
Yeah, honestly, looking at the results, it's a little bit of a bummer that I got knocked out last week because I would have been the top running out of the Champ 4. But yeah, carry some momentum in the next season and hopefully carry it into Wednesday as well for my big night.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, any sponsors, plugs, and shout outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to Best Friends Animal Society, the sponsor I'm running. I'm actually sponsoring the race on Wednesday to do a charity race, probably towards the end of December, raise some money for them. Great company. And then shout out to John. I won't go into all the other shout outs I normally do. Shout out to John, though. Awesome he was able to win the championship. He's one of my buddies, and he's been one of the ones that have really helped me improve since I joined Elite. And it's just so cool to see him bring it home tonight. And then we'll be battling together on Wednesday. So hopefully I get the same feeling in a couple days here.
Alrighty, we appreciate you, Justin, and hopefully we're talking to you again next season.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, I am standing down here with our second place finisher tonight, and I'm really happy I get to talk to you tonight here, Tyler Pop, a guy that we haven't seen a whole lot this year. Now, Tyler, there's been a couple of these end of seasons where you've kind of snuck up there, and we think, going into next year, you're going to be the guy that's going to pop off, win a couple, and be in the fight for this title. So, how are you going to manage that this time? Not take the slow start. It's almost like the Bengals. You're starting like 0-6, and then you're trying to make a run late and can't have any errors. So, what do you got to change about your early season struggles to be able to put yourself where John Cullip is next season?
Well, Chris, the feeling's mutual. So just so you know that, I really enjoyed chatting with you as well. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just I didn't even run the full series or the full season this series. Was really focused on Gen 4. Sorry, a little sick right now. So honestly, what it just boils down to is just getting on the rig more and practicing. I'm signing up for Cup next season. I'm going to try to run the full season in this Cup, just to try to get some more reps. And I think that's really honestly all it comes down to. I mean, I hopped into the car today and it was bad fast, so I felt really good, especially qualified up front. I think I would spun myself off the nose, adjusting, trying to get the lead of the race. So yeah, I felt really good. I think I really do need to improve on road courses. because there's a million of them in this series, and I'm always battling for 30th. So there's obviously a bunch of stuff I could do. Maybe get a teammate, so to try to learn a little bit more. But overall, really happy with tonight. A little frustrated, hit a couple laps early, let Tate get the tire advantage, and he already had a little bit of a long run advantage there. But yeah, just happy to come home second, and again bring a little momentum. Sounds like it's the same thing every day, but I'm still happy.
All right, Tyler, thanks for coming up here and talking to us. I know you're sick. I'm sick too. I think we must have been hanging out in the same circles this past week or something. But so you mentioned that you're going to be trying to get more reps next year. Hopefully, you can win some more of these races and come up here and talk to James. I, unfortunately, will probably be out there on the racetrack frustrating you a little bit.
Okay.
But maybe we'll come up here and bug James and Dave every chance we can. So what's your outlook in next season? You're going to, are you setting some goals to win, to be competitive? Like, what goals are you setting for next season?
For sure. Well, I think just for depends on what series you're talking about. I mean, I really like Gen 4, and I'm fast in Gen 4. I've already won that series, so if that series doesn't exist anymore, then I think it's going to put the main focus on this one, and I really think it's just get better at the road courses. I mean, I'm like finishing 30th, and when I come to the tracks that I excel at, 1.5 miles, 2 miles, plate tracks, just finish. Make the playoffs and see what could happen. Because, yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was going to sniff the lead tonight, and with maybe a different pick call there, I win the race, and that's beating the 4 championship guys. So I definitely can do it. It's just the little things, Chris. You know how it goes. It's just little things getting better and better as time goes on. But it'll happen when it's meant to.
Well, all right, Tyler. Before we let you jump out of here and get prepared for the rest of the week and looking ahead to next season, who else get it done for you week in, week out?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I say this every time. The league's awesome. Tons of fast drivers. You don't win by accident. You earn every inch out there. It's a lot of fun. And, just really big shout out to Chad and everyone else who else runs the leagues. Chris, James, you guys doing the broadcasts. I think they're really entertaining. They're fun to watch. Congrats to John on the win, the championship. That's awesome. He's bad fast. And I guess I'll give a shout out to Tate as well. Just sick of finishing behind that guy, but congrats to him too. So that's pretty much it. Ready for the off season, and we'll see in the Gen 4 series.
All right, Tyler. Good luck. Can't wait to see you on the racetrack and get in the victory lane a little bit more next season.
All right, thanks guys. Have a good one.
Alrighty, and now time to talk to our race winner, Tate. James in the booth. You got a copy?
Loud and clear. How you doing?
Doing all right. Well, heck of a way to end off the season, bringing home one last win for the road.
Yeah, I don't know. I could be real honest with you. I didn't think there was much of a shot of that. I kind of was just hoping to come in, run respectable top 5, 6 or 7. These guys are pretty darn good. And by the end of that first run, I kind of figured out a line that I liked. And it had gotten up to 3rd and felt like I was pretty even with Wadsworth. He was way up the road, but I felt like I was pretty even with him once I got clear of the traffic. And then even pretty even with Blake once I got clear of the traffic. A couple of those guys shot themselves in the foot. We were able to get the better draw on lane choice on Wadsy, and then I think we just kind of out-pit stopped those guys at the end and was able to capitalize and get a win. But pretty cool to come out and get a win. It's been a while. One Daytona at the beginning of the year, but other than that, in this top 2 series, it's been a hot minute. So feels good to know that it's still in there somewhere, and maybe one of these days we'll try for another championship.
Yeah, you did a great job getting through some of the chaos of that last restart with all the cars that stayed out.
Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of starting on the bottom, it helped, and it just kind of worked out in our favor, and we had the long run speed to make it happen. So, got to shout out Brent Wednesday's gone by, Vintage Racing Apparel. He's been on the car for a long time. Unfortunately, not really racing for many championships anymore. As long as our internet doesn't go out tomorrow night, we should be able to lock up the 2003 championship. But don't have the time to really do these Monday and Wednesday series anymore, which is fine. But it's nice to come in and show some speed and have all the cards fall right for once and get a checkered flag. Also, congrats to John for winning the championship. Shout out Jack Louise, Dad, Gavin, if you guys are still watching. Thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll catch y'all tomorrow night.
All right, we appreciate you, and hopefully we're talking to you again next season at some point.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, I am standing here with the champion. Typically, we ask some questions, but John, I'm not going to ask you any questions tonight. The floor is yours. You can talk for however long you want. If you want to talk for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, say whatever you want, talk about whatever you want, shout out whoever you want. The floor is yours, John.
Yeah, we might be here all night then, but yeah, I won't put people through that. Yeah, it was an interesting night. Our qualifying attempts, it wasn't good, clearly. I didn't realize the top was going to be that slow. I should have known better with how cool the track was, but started P17, I think, and I was just managing my tires, and hopefully it swung in our direction, and yeah, luckily it did. Made it up towards the top 5 after the first run, I believe, and then I believe it was Weeks missed pit road, and then Blake ended up speeding, so it was really just unfortunate for both of them. They were really, really quick tonight. And then after our pit stop, I had a run on Fody, and he got stacked up a little bit by the 2 cars in front of him, and I went to get at the bottom, and he started coming down a little bit, and unfortunately we just got the worst end of net code, and he ended up with the worst end of it than I did, and unfortunately, instead of just making his car bobble and go up the track, it just instantly turned him around, and there was nothing he could do with it. But yeah, it was a fun race. I wish the track winded out. It wasn't too eventful, thankfully. We had a long green flag run both stints. Not really much else I could ask for at this point. Just I'm happy that it worked out in our favor in our back-to-back championship.
And that's right, back to back there. So now you're going to go for 3. You know, are you already setting that out? You know, you laying Jimmy Johnson's name out there, trying to get, 5 in a row, 6 in a row. Like, where are we going with this? How long do you think we can keep this streak going?
Honestly, I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to run full season next year. I wasn't even supposed to do it this year, but Road to Pro kind of fell through. They were changing the format last second, so I just ended up running full time here, and it worked out pretty well. Next year, I'd like to race as much as I can. I'm not sure how it'll go as far as commitments, that being my priority. But if I can race full time, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, John, I don't have anything to add. I know you've hit some shout outs, but are there any more you got here before we let you go celebrate with your team and kind of decompress the season as it winds down?
Yeah, shout out to you guys over here in Elite. Dave, Huck, he's awesome every week. He has to put up with us, and he does a phenomenal job as you do, Chris Wright and James Watson. Shout out to our race control, William White. Shout out to Mark Rebilas. He's been the sponsor over here in this series for a few years. Super cool dude. Sad to see him go as far as the sponsorship, but I'm glad he'll be hanging around. Shout out to Channel 199 Racecraft. It's a great group of guys. I had a lot of fun racing with Blake this season, and Gavin Hibbs, Wadsey, and Paul Mikolajczyk. It's always a fun time when you're just able to hang out every Monday night and just hang out with your friends. Shout out to Race CPI, the team I'm with for Contender and Road to Pro next season. Hopefully we can make it to the Coke Series, and you guys can tune in and see something that you've seen grow for a few years now. And shout out to my mom. She watches every race and is always super supportive and happy when I bring it home and get a podium. And, hopefully she's pretty excited with this. She came in pretty happy after the final lap. So it's a good feeling.
Well, John, congrats on the championship. It was a lot of fun watching you and Blake go at it, and Blake made that one more mistake tonight than you did, and with the way the race was, and it seems like every year the last race of the year when those championship four are out there, it's almost like you get everybody's best driving. We didn't have really any issues tonight, and just the one caution, and so I feel like you were the guy that made the least amount of mistakes. Two of them kind of dropped the ball on pit road. You and Fody got to duel it out there for just a little bit, so you went out and you earned it tonight, earned it on a long run, which is something we've seen. I don't know if everybody's watched every race, or seen some of these races, but you can clearly see it on the broadcast, and if you're out there on the racetrack with your John, you can tell, at tracks like this, John, it's a testament to you on how well you're able to save these tires, make them last. Like I think back to Chicago. I'm sure you remember what race I'm talking about, John, where it was just like after 10 laps, John gave everybody the goodbye. He could have lapped the field, I think. So well earned tonight, John, and it was a lot of fun watching it. And hopefully next season, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I hope you don't win it next season, because I'd like to be in this spot next season. I'll be joining you guys here on Monday nights. So hopefully I'm the guy that breaks your streak.
I also have to give a shout out. Like a lot of that help has come from my teammates, specifically in like this car, Grambolin. And even though he's not a teammate, he's still a pretty cool guy. He's over at Nexus, Sebastian Marin. He's insanely quick in this car and everything he touches. So yeah, those two were massive for me. Like the last couple years here. Shout out to Paul Mikolajic too. He never practices, but he always has speed, and he saw something I was doing wrong about last year and instantly pointed it out, and I was able to improve on that, and it's worked out for us.
Well, congrats, John. Go ahead and get out of here. Go celebrate, live it up, party, and maybe go out to eat tonight and celebrate that championship in style.
Yeah, we'll see. Have a good night.
Dave, James, it's been a heck of a season from start to end. Like Tate said, the bookend. Tate brought us into the season in victory lane. He takes us out in victory lane. We came into the season talking about who's going to go and dethrone Cutlip and who's going to be the next champion. And Cutlip, he stays here. So the more things change, the more things stay the same. James, what's your overall outlook of the season? And looking ahead here to next season, who do you think is going to be that guy to go out there and challenge John?
Yeah, I mean, it was a heck of a season. We saw a lot of fantastic racing, a lot of clean races too, which was great to see. I feel like Blake is going to come back pretty darn strong here. I imagine he is not happy with himself on that pit road penalty, and so I think he's definitely going to be wanting to chase down some redemption next season.
Yeah, I'll go to you now, Dave. There we go. Dave, you were about to step up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Our off season is after 4 weeks. We'll be back at it, so I imagine these guys will take a little time off, watch some football, and we'll be back in January. And I expect everybody haven't really heard of anybody not coming, or not signing up. So a lot of the people, guys that are fast tonight, will be fast in January.
Yeah, it's going to be a heck of an off season here. 3-week Christmas, but I think New Year's we'll probably be rounding ourselves back up and getting ready to go out here and take off once again. It's been a heck of a year. I want to give a shout out to you, Dave, for everything you do all season long. And I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, you were already mapping out next season for where people are going to be, what people are going to be doing, who's moving around here, who's moving around. Like Dave, people have no idea how much time and effort Dave puts in. And I mean, Dave, you deal with a lot. And I contribute to some of those headaches. I am never early. At best, it's on time with me. And so
729 Chris Wright. That's your name.
Dave puts up with a lot, and Dave does an awful lot. Though if I don't know what Chad would do without you, Dave. He'd be burning here. So, and of course, we got to shout out Chad. Chad does an awful lot as well. You know, Chad takes care of all the on track stuff and whatnot, and you know, it got to the point there where I think Chad with the ERN stuff, he just says, "Hey, talk to Dave. Talk to Dave." So Chad's kind of giving you more, as you've proven that you can take more, Dave. So you might want to just tell him you're done with it. Be like, "Hey, I'm not taking it anymore. I need you take some of this pie, Chad." But no, it's all a great time. We have fun with each other up here in the broadcast booth, and James coming on board for this season. You're going to keep hearing from James next season. It's going to be a great time up here in the booth. Hopefully, I still get to come around and talk a little bit. Going to give a shout out. We talked to Mark tonight. Finally got Mark to come up here for an interview. Been trying to make that happen for a couple years. Heck of a guy. It's going to be a shame losing him, but hopefully, whatever sponsor we get coming up,
Hey, Chris,
will be just as fun and
Zach
engaging.
pointed out on the chat in YouTube that you may have got the first legitimate pronunciation of Mark's last name.
Oh yeah, Mark did say, right? Yeah, he did say his last name.
Yep, he said Rebilas photo. So
that's right.
We could never get a straight answer out of him if we ever asked him in driver chat. That was unsolicited, so he probably slid it in there.
I thought he was going to have the first legitimate interview with Mark, which it might have been.
It might have also been.
I've been trying to make that happen, you know, for a couple of years, and he finally took the bait on it.
Yep.
Great to hear from, great guy. So hopefully whoever next steps up to sponsor next season, it's just as outgoing, just as engaging, and you know, I mean, you couldn't ask to work with better people than you do here in Elite. And sometimes as drivers, we get frustrated with each other. We give Chad a hard time, you know, but don't think for a second, if you're watching, that we're serious, because Chad's a great guy. He'd do a lot for anybody, you know, and we just like to have fun with him. It's all in fun, you know, and Chad knows that and takes it in stride. So shout out to him. Shout out to Blue Egg Marketing. I believe they're coming back next season. Shout out to Worldwide Technology. Christmas is coming up. What are you waiting for? Buy your tickets. It doesn't matter if you're an IndyCar fan, a stock car fan, drag racing fan. It's all happening over at Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway. I had to get that in one last time, Dave. Had to say Gateway one last time. But it's going to be a heck of a time. Thanks for watching this season. Congrats to John Cutlip. And thanks for tuning in. We will see you next year. You have a great Christmas and New Year's.